Good Friday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Of course, you have your news headlines coming up on this Friday. We have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you've been part of my conversation with author Angela Jackson Brown. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Friday headlines. In national news, Biden tests positive for COVID-19, has very mild symptoms. President Joe Biden tested positive for COVID-19 on Thursday and is isolating with very mild symptoms, the White House said, as new variants of the highly contagious virus challenge the nation's efforts to get back to normal after 2.5 years of the pandemic. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said Biden started taking Paxlovid, an antiviral drug designed to reduce the severity of the disease. He was isolating in the family quarters of the White House and continuing to carry out all his duties fully, she said. Biden's physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, said in a letter that Biden had a runny nose and fatigue with an occasional dry cough, which started yesterday evening. Biden himself said in a video posted on Twitter, "I really appreciate your inquiries and concern, but I'm doing well, getting a lot of work done." Biden, 79, is fully vaccinated after getting 2 doses of the Pfizer coronavirus vaccine shortly before taking office, a first booster shot in September, and an additional dose March 30th. The president will isolate for 5 days and can continue his usual activities after a negative test. White House COVID-19 coordinator Dr. Ashish Jha told reporters at a briefing on Thursday. Jean-Pierre described the president's symptoms as very mild and said Biden had been in contact with members of the White House staff by phone and would participate in his planned meetings via phone and Zoom from the residence. In the video that Biden recorded outdoors to tell the world he was okay, the videographer stood 6 feet away and wore an N95 mask, Jean-Pierre said. The president will stop taking his blood thinner and cholesterol medications while receiving Paxlovid. The White House took steps to show the president was busy working despite his diagnosis, with Biden tweeting out a picture of himself making calls from the treaty room of the White House. The president spoke by phone to lawmakers in Pennsylvania to apologize for having to cancel his planned trip there to the city to promote his crime prevention plans. Biden also called South Carolina Representative Jim Clyburn to wish him a happy birthday and congratulate him on receiving an award from the NAACP. Dr. O'Connor wrote in his letter about the president's treatment plan, "I anticipate that he will respond favorably to Paxlovid, as most maximally protected patients do." Jean-Pierre said Biden had tested negative on Tuesday and would stay isolated until he tests negative again. White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain said in a letter to the White House staff, obtained by the Associated Press, that all close contacts of the president will be informed of Biden's positive test per standard protocol. In more national news, ex-cop Lane gets 2.5 years for violating Floyd's rights. A federal judge sentenced former Minneapolis police officer Thomas Lane to 2.5 years in prison Thursday for violating George Floyd's civil rights, calling Lane's role in the restraint that killed Floyd a very serious offense in which a life was lost, but handing down a sentence well below what prosecutors and Floyd's family sought. In more national news, New York reports first U.S. polio case in nearly a decade. An unvaccinated young adult from New York recently contracted polio, the first U.S. case in nearly a decade, health officials said on Thursday. Officials said the patient, who lives in Rockland County, had developed paralysis. The person developed symptoms a month ago and did not recently travel outside the country, county health officials said. It appeared the patient had a vaccine-derived strain of the virus, perhaps from someone who got live vaccine, available in other countries, but not the U.S., and spread it, officials said. The person is no longer deemed contagious, but investigators are trying to figure out how the infection occurred and whether other people were exposed to the virus. In more national news, Facebook gives users new way to see all their friends' posts. Facebook is rolling out an update that enables its 2 billion daily users to more easily view their friends' posts in chronological order. The new feature is the company's latest attempt to keep people coming back to its social network amid intensifying competition with its rival TikTok. The changes announced Thursday will offer up 2 different perspectives. When Facebook users open the app, they will initially see the usual news feed featuring posts selected by an algorithm that the company says it designed to highlight topics and friends most likely to appeal to each individual taste and interest. The main feed on the newly dubbed Home section will also include an option to look at short videos called Reels, Facebook's clone of TikTok. And finally, in business news, stocks end higher as Wall Street winning week rolls on. Stocks ended higher on Wall Street Thursday, building on their winning week. The gains came amid a deluge of news about the economy, interest rates, and corporate profits. The S&P 500 rose 1% after shaking off an early stumble, returning to its highest level in 6 weeks. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's on time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Friday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. No matter who you are, there will be times when you will face the fiery challenges of life. Those flames can either consume you or refine you. If you allow them to do the latter, they will make you better than what you ever thought possible. Regardless of the difficulty, hold on and don't give up. Have a great Friday and enjoy the weekend. We have a part of my conversation with author Angela Jackson Brown in today's Entertainment Spotlight. We're here on Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Author Angela Jackson Brown joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about her literary journey and new book, The Light Always Breaks. Here's a bit of our conversation. Talk to us about this journey for you, Angela. What has it been like for you to do what you love as a storyteller and to share that with us?
Oh, my goodness. You know, this dream of being a writer actually started with my dad. My dad just saw in me this innate ability to tell stories. And from the time I was, old enough to hold a pencil, he would always say to me, "You're going to be a writer someday." And I listened to that message, and I always believed I was a writer. It wasn't until I was in my 40s that I actually pursued publication, because I knew I was a writer. Daddy said so. I didn't need readers to tell me that, but I started to realize that, maybe that dream needed to go beyond just my inner circle. And so when I published Drinking from a Bitter Cup, it just opened me up to this world of not just writing for myself or for family, but connecting with other people and hearing how my characters affected them in various ways. So for me, I say it's almost like a ministry in terms of it's my way to speak truth, but do it in a way that oftentimes is not as confrontational, as getting in someone's face.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversation Daily News. We'll be back to you guys on Monday with more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course, your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Now let's go make it a great one.